Your first sip of alcohol tasted disgusting. You remember that, right? That burning in your throat, the way your face twisted, the way your stomach tightened like it was trying to push the liquid back out. That wasn't a quirk of being young. That was your body's survival system firing on all cylinders, doing exactly what millions of years of evolution designed it to do: reject a poison before it could do damage. So here's the question nobody asks. If every cell in your body was screaming at you to stop, why did you keep going? And why did everyone around you act like that was totally normal? The answer goes deeper than peer pressure. It goes deeper than curiosity. From the moment you were born, a billion-dollar industry was quietly rewriting your instincts, programming you to override your own biology, and nobody ever asked if that was okay. Not your parents, not your teachers, not the government, and certainly not the companies making money from it. What you're about to hear is the version of the story they never wanted you to piece together. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Think about your earliest memories of alcohol. Not drinking it, just seeing it. It was everywhere. Weddings, barbecues, birthday parties, football games on TV, champagne popping in movies when someone won or got promoted or fell in love. Beer commercials during Saturday afternoon sports, linking cold bottles to friendship, laughter, freedom. Before you ever held a drink in your hand, your brain had already cataloged thousands of data points. Alcohol equals celebration. Alcohol equals bonding. Alcohol equals being an adult. Alcohol equals living the good life. This wasn't education, it was conditioning. And it started before you could read. Here's what nobody ever mentions. Nobody ever came to your parents and said, "Hey, we're gonna spend the next 18 years showing your child thousands of advertisements and cultural cues that normalize a toxic, addictive substance." Nobody asked. Nobody consented. It just happened the same way it happened to your parents and their parents before them. By the time most people take their first drink at 15, 16, 17 years old, the decision has already been made, not by them. By decades of cultural programming so seamless, they never even noticed it was happening. You didn't choose alcohol. Alcohol was chosen for you. The first sip was just a formality, and that programming created a bizarre contradiction. Growing up, you got two competing messages. On one side, there were vague warnings. Don't drink too much, be responsible. Alcohol can be dangerous. On the other side, every adult you respected was drinking. Every celebration involved it. Every movie made it look glamorous. So when you finally tried it and nothing terrible happened that first night, which message won? The warnings evaporated. You thought, maybe they were exaggerating, maybe it's fine. That's exactly what the conditioning was designed to make you think. Now, let's talk about what you were actually putting into your body, because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Every alcoholic drink on the planet, whether it comes in a crystal wine glass or a neon-colored can, is fundamentally the same thing. Ethanol mixed with water, dressed up with different flavorings. Ethanol, that's what you're drinking. It's a toxic, psychoactive substance that your body immediately recognizes as a threat. That's not an opinion, that's biology. When ethanol hits your system, your liver scrambles to break it down using an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase. It converts ethanol into acetaldehyde, a compound so toxic it's classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization, the same category as asbestos and formaldehyde. Your body then has to break that down further just to get it out of you before it does more damage. Remember that first sip? The burning throat, the grimace, the taste that made you want to spit it out. That wasn't weakness. That was your body doing exactly what it was designed to do. Your taste buds revolted, your throat burned, your stomach tried to reject it. Every biological alarm system you have was firing at once, saying one thing: this is poison, stop. And what did we do? We overrode it. We pushed through. We drank more. We trained ourselves to suppress the very instinct that was trying to protect us until one day the aversion was gone. Think about that for a minute. We had to train ourselves to tolerate something our bodies were desperately trying to reject. No one trains themselves to tolerate water. No one forces themselves to get used to food. But somehow, with alcohol, we accepted that the disgust response was a hurdle to get over rather than a warning to listen to. So if the product itself is so biologically repulsive that new drinkers can barely stomach it, how does a trillion-dollar industry keep recruiting new customers? Here's where it gets really interesting. They engineer around your biology. Alcohol companies don't just sell beer and wine anymore. They employ teams of scientists and laboratories, literally designing products to bypass your body's natural defenses. Artificial sweeteners to mask the bitterness. Chemical flavorings to make ethanol taste like candy. Bright colors and sleek packaging to make it look fun, harmless, youthful. These products have been called Frankenstein drinks, and that name fits. They're not natural. They're not traditional. They are precision-engineered tools designed to do one specific thing: get first-time drinkers past the disgust response so the addictive cycle can begin. This isn't speculation. This is the documented playbook. The alcohol industry has spent decades running disinformation campaigns that would make big tobacco blush. On one side, they fund and amplify research into the supposed health benefits of moderate drinking. A glass of red wine is good for your heart. A beer a day keeps the doctor away. You've heard these claims 1,000 times. On the other side, they quietly suppress, discredit, or simply ignore the mountains of evidence showing what alcohol actually does to the human body over time. Cancer, liver disease, brain shrinkage, heart damage, immune suppression, depression, anxiety. The list doesn't end. And the gap between what the public believes and what the science actually shows is not an accident. That gap was manufactured. It was paid for. And it has kept billions of people drinking for decades. There's a free 7-minute training that walks through exactly how this conditioning works on your brain and, more importantly, how to reverse it. It's a completely different approach from anything you've heard before. Nothing to do with willpower or therapy or group meetings, and it's already helped thousands of people see alcohol clearly for the first time. The link is right below this video in the description. Enter your name and email, and it starts immediately. It won't be free forever, but right now, it is. Now let's talk about the health narrative specifically, because this is where the deception hits closest to home. For decades, the public has been fed a steady stream of sensationalized stories glamorizing alcohol's supposed health benefits. Red wine and antioxidants, beer and bone density, moderate drinking and longevity. These headlines showed up everywhere, from morning news segments to magazine covers to your doctor's waiting room. And almost none of them survive rigorous, independent scrutiny. When you trace the funding back, a disturbing pattern emerges. Many of the studies that found benefits to moderate drinking were either directly funded by the alcohol industry or conducted by researchers with financial ties to it. The studies that found harm, those received a fraction of the attention. They weren't amplified. They weren't turned into headlines. They sat in journals while the pro-alcohol messaging dominated public consciousness. A 2018 study published in The Lancet analyzed data from 600,000 drinkers across 19 countries and concluded that the safest level of alcohol consumption is 0. Not 1 glass, not moderate. That study should have been front-page news for a month. Instead, it came and went, because the infrastructure that controls what you hear about alcohol doesn't want you to hear that. Most people have never been given an honest, unsponsored account of what alcohol does to the body over time. That gap in your knowledge is not because the information doesn't exist. It's because the people profiting from your ignorance have spent billions making sure you never see it. Understanding who funds the research changes everything about how you interpret the headlines you've been reading your entire life. And this is exactly the playbook Big Tobacco ran for 50 years. They knew cigarettes cause cancer. Internal documents proved it. But publicly, they funded their own research, hired their own scientists, and created just enough doubt to keep people smoking for decades longer than they should have. The alcohol industry watched that playbook work, and they copied it. The parallels are not subtle. They're almost identical. Manufacture doubt about the harms. Amplify any hint of benefit. Blame the consumer when things go wrong. It puts the responsibility on you while they engineer products designed to make moderation as difficult as possible. That's the game. And most people don't even know they're playing it. So where does this leave you? Here's the truth. Your relationship with alcohol was built for you, not by you. Every belief you hold about what alcohol does for you, every assumption about why you need it to relax, to socialize, to celebrate, to cope, those beliefs were installed before you were old enough to question them. They were reinforced by advertising, by culture, by the people around you who had the same beliefs installed in them. That's not your fault. You didn't fail. You didn't lack discipline or willpower. You were conditioned. And the conditioning was so thorough, so all-encompassing, that questioning it feels almost unthinkable. That's by design. But here's what changes the game. The moment you recognize the conditioning for what it is, it starts to lose its power. Questioning alcohol is not extreme. It's not puritanical. It is simply doing the one thing the industry spent billions trying to prevent, thinking critically about the product. That's it. That's all it takes to start, not willpower. not white-knuckling through cravings, not labeling yourself. For most people, the honest answer is no. And that answer is the beginning of something the industry never wanted you to find, a genuinely informed choice. Possibly the first real choice you've ever had on this topic. And the method to get there, to actually make that shift feel natural and permanent, is laid out step by step in a free 7-minute video you can watch right now. Thousands of people have watched it and said it felt like a switch flipped in their brain. It's not published anywhere else online, and I'm not sure how long it'll stay free. The link is in the description below this video. Enter your name and email and it starts right away. Once you see this clearly, you can't go back to not seeing it. The fog lifts, the marketing stops working, the cultural pressure starts to feel absurd instead of overwhelming. You start noticing things you never noticed before, like how alcohol is the only drug on earth where people who don't take it are the ones who have to explain themselves. You start seeing the conditioning in real time, in commercials, in conversations, in the way people hand you a drink without asking if you want one. And instead of feeling deprived, you feel free, because you're not giving something up. You're seeing something clearly for the first time. That's the gift most people never receive. And now you have it. Now that you know what alcohol really is, how you were sold on it, and who profits from you never questioning it, the next question is obvious. What actually happens to your body and your brain when you remove it? The answer is more dramatic than you'd expect, and some of it will surprise you as much as what you just learned. Click the video on the screen right now to see exactly what they never told you about what stopping looks like.